A small, peaceful alien species called the Lirani lived on a quiet colony world at the edge of known space. They grew bright plants in wide fields and built homes that looked like living trees. Their cities hummed with soft songs and gentle machines made to help, not harm. The Lirani had smooth green skin and large eyes that saw many colors. They moved slowly and spoke in calm voices. They had never fought a war because they saw no need for anger or weapons. One bright morning, the sky changed without warning. A dark cloud appeared high above the main city. It was not a storm. It was a swarm of machines that no one had seen for many centuries. These were old killers left behind from a forgotten war. They flew on sharp wings and legs like blades. They landed fast and started to eat. The first buildings fell in minutes. Metal twisted and turned into new machines. Flesh became fuel. The swarm grew as it destroyed. The Lirani ran in every direction. Parents carried children toward the deep shelters. Farmers dropped their tools and fled. Families hid in root cellars and underground halls. Screams filled the air, but the machines did not care. They only built more of themselves. The swarm spread across the plains and forests. It chewed through farms and turned gardens into gray dust. In the Capitol building, the leaders gathered. They were old and wise, but now their faces showed only fear. The head keeper was Lyra. She had led the colony for many cycles. Her voice stayed steady, even as her hands shook. She looked at the others and said, "We cannot stop this with words or tools. We must call for help." They hurried to the communication tower. The tower stood tall and thin. It held the old emergency sender left from the time when many species talked freely. Lyra sat at the controls. She opened every channel the protocol allowed. She pressed the send key and spoke clearly. "This is Colony Haven of the Lirani. We face a machine swarm that kills everything. It grows without stop. Have no way to fight. We are peaceful plant tenders. We ask any who hear this for aid. Our world is dying. Please come. Our location is sent with this message. We beg for help." She sent the words again and again. She added pictures of the swarm tearing homes apart. She added pictures of small Lirani hiding in fear. She waited for an answer. The others stood around her. Some prayed in low voices. Some held each other tight. The swarm noise came closer. It sounded like metal teeth grinding stone. Far across the stars, on the blue world called Earth, the message arrived. Human listening posts stood in deep space. They were quiet machines that watched many bands. One array caught the signal first. It played the words and showed the images. Lights blinked in a control room on Luna Base. An officer looked at the screen and spoke into his link. Distress call received. Unknown species. Non-aggressive signature. Swarm threat confirmed. Sending to command now. The message moved fast through human networks. Officers in many places watched the same footage. They saw the small green beings run from machines that never tired. They saw cities fall and fields burn. One senior commander leaned back in her chair and said, "They used the old band. That band is ours by quiet agreement. If someone calls, we answer. No exceptions." They talked for only a short time. They checked maps and ship positions. The colony was close enough. A fast response could reach it before the swarm finished its work. They looked at the threat data. The machines were self-makers. They would spread to other worlds if not stopped soon. The commander gave the order. Pull the Cataclysm Dawn from patrol route. Redirect to coordinates. Full loadout. Authorized use of all necessary force. In the black between stars, the UNS Cataclysm Dawn waited. It was a giant among ships, 14 kilometers from bow to stern. Its hull was thick and dark. It carried marks from fights against things that broke whole fleets. Its engines could push it faster. Then light, in ways most species never understood. Its weapons were made for one purpose, to end threats that could end worlds. The order reached the bridge. The captain read it once, then nodded. All stations prepare for jump. Target system has active Xeno distress. Swarm class threat. Priority 1 is complete removal. Priority 2 is survivor support. Jump in 10 minutes. Crew members moved without rush. They knew their places. They trusted their ship. The drive cores glowed bright. The space around the dreadnought bent and folded. The Cataclysm Dawn slipped away from its patrol path. It aimed toward the small green world where fear had called out. On the colony, the Lirani still waited. The swarm had taken most of the surface. Only deep bunkers remained safe. Food was low. Air filters worked hard. Lyra kept the sender open. She listened every moment. She whispered to herself, "Someone will hear. Someone must hear." Days passed slowly. The swarm broke into new tunnels. It found weak spots and pushed inside. More Lirani died. Some fought with farm tools, but the machines were too strong. Others hid deeper and hoped. The sky stayed dark, with smoke and metal wings. Then, one quiet hour, the ground shook. A new sound came from space. It was deep and heavy, like a storm born in the void. The Lirani in the highest bunker looked up through a small viewer. They saw something massive appear at the system edge. It was bigger than any ship they knew. It moved slow but sure. Its shape blocked stars as it came closer. The Lirani stared in silence. Some felt hope, some felt new fear. The object was not soft or bright. It was hard and sharp. It carried power they could feel in their chests. They did not know its name, but they knew it had come because of their call. Inside the Cataclysm Dawn, the captain watched the main screen. Threat scan complete. Swarm biomass critical. Engaging response pattern. All weapons green. Crew at ready. The captain spoke into the ship-wide link. "This is not a drill. Answer a call for help. We end the threat. We save who we can. Hold steady." The dreadnought moved forward. Its shadow fell across the ruined world. The swarm turned toward it. Machines climbed high. They sensed new material. They wanted to consume it. They did not understand what came for them. The Lirani waited below. They held their breath. They hoped this giant was friend, not foe. They hoped it brought an end to the terror. The Lirani survivors stayed deep in their bunkers. The air grew thick and hard to breathe. Food packs ran low, and water tasted like metal dust. Children cried softly, while adults whispered plans that no longer made sense. The swarm kept digging. It found new ways into the tunnels. It killed without pause. The noise never stopped. Lyra sat by the old sender. She kept it open, even when hope felt thin. She played soft colony songs to calm the others. The songs spoke of green fields and calm rains. No one sang along anymore. They only listened. The swarm broke through another level above them. Dust fell from the ceiling like gray snow. Then the ground shook harder than before. It was not the swarm. This shake came from outside, from space. The walls hummed with a deep, low sound that made teeth ache. The Lirani in the upper bunker climbed to the small viewports. They pressed close and looked up. A shape appeared against the black. It grew fast. It filled more of the sky with every breath. Thing was huge. Beyond huge. It looked like a mountain made of dark iron. It moved smooth and sure. It pushed aside clouds with its size. The engines glowed blue-white and left long trails of light. The ship slowed as it came near. The Lirani felt the pull in their bones. Fear spread quick. Some backed away from the ports. Others stared wide-eyed. One young keeper said, "It is bigger than our whole city." Another whispered, "It came for our call. It must be help." Lyra pushed through the crowd. She looked up too. Her large eyes reflected the giant shadow. She spoke low. "We asked for aid. This is what answered." The ship hung above the ruined world. It blocked the sun and turned day to dim gray. No weapons fired yet. It simply waited. The Lirani felt small under it. They had seen trader ships before, small, bright things that landed gentle. This was not gentle. This was power made solid. Inside the Cataclysm Dawn, the bridge stayed calm, lights glowed soft, green screens showed every detail of the planet. The captain stood tall, in dark uniform. Her name was Mara Voss. She had led this ship through worse. She looked at the main display. The swarm moved like a living sea across the surface. Red markers showed active replication zones. Hundreds of thousands, stronger than first thought. She spoke to her crew. Threat level confirmed. High replication rate. No sapient structures remain intact above ground level. Survivors confirmed in deep bunkers. Priority remains eradication, then aid. Helm hold position. Weapons stay cold until full scan. Weapons officer replied, "Scan complete. All targets marked. Ready on your word." Mara nodded. "Send standard first contact hail. Use every band. Open channel." She turned to the comms officer. "Read this exactly. Distress signal received. This is UNS Cataclysm Dawn, responding to emergency beacon. Threat assessment in progress. All non-combatant biologicals shelter at maximum depth. Do not approach this vessel. Stand by for further instructions." Clear, standard Terran, then in translated Lirani speech. The message repeated on loop. The Lirani heard it in their own tongue. They looked at each other confused. Shelter at maximum depth. They were already deep. They had nowhere deeper to go. A brave group decided to act. 3 keepers took a small shuttle. It was old and patched, but it still flew. They climbed inside and launched from a hidden bay. The shuttle rose slow toward the giant ship. They broadcast as they went. "Please, we are the Lirani. We sent the call. We are not enemies. We need help. The swarm kills us. Please hear us." The Cataclysm Dawn tracked the tiny craft. It did not fire. Point defense stayed quiet. The shuttle came close enough to see the hull scars. Long burns from plasma hits. Dents from impacts bigger than mountains. The keepers felt cold fear, but kept talking. "We beg you, do not harm our world. We only want to live." The response came fast and clear. "This is UNS Cataclysm Dawn. Your signal was received. Threat is confirmed." As existential. Response profile is overwhelming force. Authorized. Casualty minimization is priority 2. Threat eradication is priority 1. Your shuttle is clear to return. Do not interfere with operations. Time on target 4 minutes. The keepers froze. Overwhelming force. The words sounded wrong in their language. Casualty minimization. They did not like how it sounded. They turned the shuttle and flew back fast. They landed shaky and ran to Lyra. They told her everything. She listened without speaking. Then she said, "They will fight the swarm, but they speak like machines themselves." The swarm sensed the new arrival. It turned toward the dreadnought. Thousands of units climbed high. They spread wings and launched like angry insects. They wanted the metal. They wanted to eat and grow. The Cataclysm Dawn did not move. It waited. On the bridge, Mara watched the swarm approach. She said, "All batteries release safeties. Kinetic lances to primary, swarm killers to secondary, grav shear fields on. Stand by. Fire when in range." The ship lit up. Lines of light appeared along its length. Turrets turned slow but sure. The first wave of machines reached attack distance. They fired small energy bursts that sparked harmless against the hull. The dreadnought answered. Bright spears shot out from the sides. They moved fast and hit true. Each spear tore through dozens of units at once. Metal shredded and burned. The swarm kept coming. More climbed, more launched. The Cataclysm Dawn fired again. Wider beams this time. Whole clouds of machines vanished in white fire. The Lirani watched from below. They saw flashes that lit the sky like second suns. They felt heat, even deep underground. They heard the swarm scream in metal voices. The noise changed. It sounded like pain. Mara kept her voice level. Secondary batteries. Engage full spread. Micro-missile deployment. Pattern Delta. Clean the upper atmosphere. Hatches opened along the hull. Thousands of small missiles flew out. They spread like seeds. Then they turned smart. They chased units that tried to hide. They exploded in tight bursts. Each blast took out clusters. The sky filled with fire and falling junk. The swarm tried to adapt. It built shields from its own dead. It sent bigger units forward. The dreadnought answered with grav shear. A ripple moved through space. It bent light and crushed metal. The bigger units folded in on themselves like paper. They fell silent. Lyra stood with her people. They listened to the battle above. They did not cheer. They only waited. Some cried quietly. Others held hands tight. They knew something unstoppable had come. They knew it answered their call. They did not know if they would survive its answer. The Cataclysm Dawn kept firing. It moved slow across the sky. It hunted every last active signal. The swarm grew thin. It stopped growing. It started to die. Mara looked at the screens. Threat reduction at 70%. Continuing sanitization. Medical and rescue teams prep for drop. Hands remain at stations. This is not over yet. The giant ship stayed above the broken world. It watched. It waited. It worked. The Lirani stayed below. They listened to the thunder. They hoped the thunder would stop soon. They hoped the helpers would remember they were helpers. The sky burned bright with human fire. The swarm shrank smaller and smaller. The dreadnought showed no mercy. It showed only purpose. The battle above grew louder and brighter. The Cataclysm Dawn moved slow across the sky. It hunted every part of the swarm. The flashes came so fast they looked like constant lightning. The Lirani in the bunkers felt the heat through thick walls. The air smelled of hot stone and burned air. They pressed close together. Some covered their ears. The noise hurt deep inside. Lyra stood near the highest viewport. She watched the giant ship work. Its weapons made clean lines of light that cut through the dark clouds. The swarm tried to fight back. It sent waves of sharp units. They crashed against the hull like rain on rock. They did no harm. The dreadnought answered with more fire. Whole sections of sky cleared in seconds. The machines fell silent, one group after another. Then the small diplomatic shuttle came back again. The three keepers inside felt brave and scared. They flew close to the giant ship once more. They sent messages over and over. We are Lirani. We sent the first call. Please talk to us. We fear your power. We do not want our world destroyed. We only want the machines gone. The response came quick and clear. This is UNS Cataclysm Dawn. Your messages received. We understand your position. Threat eradication continues. Casualty minimization remains active priority. Do not send more craft into active combat zone. Recommend immediate return to surface shelter. Sanitization Phase 2 commencing in 60 seconds. The keepers looked at each other. Sanitization. The word felt cold. It made their skin tighten. They turned the shuttle fast. They flew down toward the main bunker. They landed hard and ran inside. They found Lyra and told her what they heard. She listened with wide eyes. She said, "They use words like tools, words without warmth. They plan to clean everything. They might clean us too." Fear spread through the bunkers like wind. The Lirani talked fast. Some said run deeper. Some said hide inside tunnels. Some said trust the giants because they came to help. Lyra raised her hand for quiet. She spoke calm. We cannot run forever. We must speak again. We must make them see we live here. She went to the old sender. She opened the channel wide. She spoke slow and clear. This is Lyra, head keeper of Colony Haven. We thank you for fighting the machines. We hear your weapons. We see the sky clear. Please hear us now. We are many thousands still alive in these bunkers. We are not machines. We are soft beings. We grow plants. We care for young. We ask you not to harm us when you finish the swarm. Please answer. The message went out. It repeated many times. The Cataclysm Dawn heard it. The comms officer played it on the bridge. Mara Voss listened. She turned to her first officer. They sound terrified. They think we plan orbital strike. Standard fear response from low-tech species. She paused, then said, "Open return channel. Use gentle filter. Keep translation perfect." The voice came back to the Lyrani. It sounded the same, but softer. "This is Captain Mara Voss of UNS Cataclysm Dawn. Your status confirmed as primary survivors. Threat remains active, but reducing. We have no intent to harm sapient life. Your world will stay habitable. Medical aid and reconstruction support will follow after clearance. Please transmit exact bunker locations and headcount. We will avoid those zones with directed fire. Remain at current depth for safety. Time on target now, 2 minutes." The Lyrani heard the words. They looked at each other. Medical aid, reconstruction support. The words felt strange, but better. Lyra sent the locations fast. She added pictures of the bunkers. She added counts of living. They waited. The ship above kept firing. It moved careful now. It aimed weapons away from marked spots. The swarm tried one last push. It gathered all remaining units in a tight ball. It charged toward the dreadnought. Mara watched the screen. Final cluster detected. Engaging containment. All lances converge. Pattern Omega. Execute. The ship glowed bright. A single wide beam shot out. Ball of machines. It squeezed tight. Metal screamed, then melted. The beam pulled inward. The swarm vanished in a flash of white. Nothing remained but dust. The sky went quiet. The Cataclysm Dawn hung still. Its weapons cooled. The glow faded. The Lyrani waited. They listened. No more metal noise. No more screams from the swarm. Only the low hum of the giant ship. Lyra spoke into the sender again. "The machines are gone. We see no more movement. Thank you. We are safe now because of you. Please come down. We need to talk face to face. We need to understand who you are." Mara read the message. She nodded to her crew. "Prep first contact team. Standard protocol. Level 3. No weapons visible. Medical kits full. Engineering support on standby." She turned to the main viewer and said, "Surface teams deploy now. Priority is survivor assessment and immediate aid. Show them we mean help, not harm." Small craft left the dreadnought. They looked tiny next to the giant ship. They flew down, slow and careful. Landed near the main bunker entrances. Armored figures stepped out. They wore dark suits with clear faceplates. They carried boxes, not guns. They moved calm and sure. The Lyrani opened the bunker doors slow. They stepped out into the open air. The world looked broken. Fields were ash. Cities were twisted metal. But the swarm was gone. The humans came closer. One stepped forward. He removed his helmet. His face looked strange to Lyrani eyes. Flat nose, small mouth, but kind eyes. He spoke through a small box that turned his words to their tongue. "Hello. We are humans. My name is Dr. Chen. We heard your call. We came to help. Are you hurt?" Lyra walked forward. Her legs shook, but she stood tall. "We are hurt. Many are gone. But we live because of you. Why did you come so strong? Why did you bring such power?" Chen looked up at the Cataclysm Dawn, then back at her. "We live on a hard world. Our bodies are tough. Our minds stay sharp. We build tools to match our dangers. When someone calls for help, we answer. With everything we have. We do not know gentle ways when lives hang in balance, but we do know how to save." The Lyrani looked at the humans. They saw no anger, only focus. They saw helpers who looked like warriors. The fear stayed, but it grew smaller. Lyra said, We thought you would destroy us too. We heard sanitization and feared the worst. Chen smiled soft. Sanitization means clean the threat, not clean the world. We protect life when we can, yours included. Come, let us help your wounded. Let us start repairs. Let us show you what friends look like. The humans opened their boxes. They brought out small machines that healed cuts and burns. They brought food packs that tasted strange but good. They brought lights to push back the dark. The Lirani watched amazed. They let the humans work. They started to talk. They asked questions. The humans answered honest. Above them, the Cataclysm Dawn stayed on watch. It scanned for any hidden machines. It waited patient. Its captain looked down and said, "First contact achieved. Survivor stable. Threat fully neutralized. Log it as success. Now we rebuild." The Lirani looked up at the giant ship. It no longer seemed only scary. It seemed like a guard. A terrible guard, but one that answered when called. They felt small, but not alone. The galaxy had heard them, and the answer had come, in fire and mercy. The humans worked fast and careful. They moved through the broken world like they had done this many times before. Dr. Chen led a team of medics. They carried small cases full of healing tools. The cases opened with soft clicks. Inside were glowing blue lights and thin needles that did not hurt. The Lirani, who had burns or broken limbs, sat still while the humans worked. The tools closed wounds in minutes. They took away pain with gentle waves of light. The children watched with wide eyes as cuts vanished like magic. Lyra walked with Chen. She showed him the deepest bunkers where many still hid. She pointed to places where the swarm had dug close. The humans listened. They nodded. They marked the spots on small glowing maps. Chen said, "We will seal those tunnels first. No more machines will come back. We promise." Lyra looked at him long. She said, "Your promise means much. We have lost so many. We need to believe you." Other humans came down with big packs. They were engineers, machines that floated on air. The machines hummed low and warm. They started to rebuild broken walls. They sprayed gray foam that hardened fast into strong shapes. They fixed air pipes and water lines. They planted small seeds in ash. They said, "These will grow quick. They will bring green back soon." The Lirani touched the new walls. They felt solid. They felt safe. In the sky, the Cataclysm Dawn stayed high. It watched everything. It sent more small ships down. Some carried food packs. Some carried clean water. Some carried lights that turned night to day. The humans set up big tents near the bunkers. The tents had soft floors and warm air inside. The Lirani moved into them slow at first, then faster. They sat together. They ate human food. It tasted strange, but filled their bellies. They drank clear water that had no dust. They started to talk more. They asked questions. One young Lirani named Tiro came close to a human marine. The marine sat on a crate. He cleaned a small tool. "Look so strong. Your skin is thick. Your arms are big." The marine smiled. He said, "Our world is hard. It has sharp teeth and cold nights and hot days. We grow tough to live there. We train hard. We build tools to match the hard. We do not break easy." Tiro touched his own thin arm. He said, "We break easy. We hide. We sing. We do not fight." The marine nodded. "That is why we came. You called, we answered. Different ways work for different worlds." The engineers found pieces of the swarm. They collected them careful. They put them in sealed boxes. One engineer spoke into a small device. "Sample collection complete. Nanite traces active. Sending to lab for study." The boxes went up to the big ship. The Cataclysm Dawn took them inside. No one knew what the humans would learn from the dead machines, but the Lirani felt glad the pieces were gone. Night came. The sky stayed dark because smoke still hung high. But the humans brought bright lights. They made circles of light around the tents. The Lirani gathered in, warm glow. They sang old songs, soft and slow. The humans listened quiet. Some sat close, some stood guard. The songs made the air feel lighter. The children slept easier. The adults talked about tomorrow. Dr. Chen sat with Lyra by a small fire. The fire came from a human box that burned clean and warm. Chen said, "Your people are brave. You survived when many would not." Lyra looked into the flames. "We hid. We waited. That is all we could do. You did the rest." Chen shook his head. "No, you called. That took courage. Most species stay silent when fear comes. You spoke loud enough for us to hear." Lyra said, "We feared no answer would come, or worse, we feared the answer would be more death." Chen said, "Death came for the machines, not for you. That is our way." Above them, the Cataclysm Dawn moved slow. It scanned the whole planet. It found no more active swarm pieces. It sent a message down. All residual threats neutralized. Surface secure. Reconstruction Phase 1, complete. Medical teams report 80% of survivors stable. Food and water supply steady for next cycle. Captain Voss requests meeting with colony leaders at dawn. Lyra heard the message. She looked up at the giant ship. It looked less like a monster now. It looked like a shield. She said, "We will meet. We want to know more about you." Dawn came soft and gray. The humans set up a wide table near the main bunker. They brought chairs and lights. Lyra came with the other keepers. They sat careful. The humans sat too. Captain Mara Voss came down herself. She wore no armor, only a dark coat. Her face looked calm but strong. She spoke clear. "I am Mara Voss, commander of this ship. We answered your call because it reached us. We do not ignore distress. We do not leave beings to die. The threat is gone. Your world can heal. We will help as long as you need. Then we will go." Lyra stood. She spoke for all. "We thank you. We were afraid when you came. Your ship is huge. Your fire is terrible. We thought you would end us too. Now we see you saved us. Your people work with care. We see your hearts are not cold. We want to learn from you. We want to be friends." Mara nodded. "Friends is a good word. We accept. We will leave a small team here to help rebuild. They will teach if you want. They will listen if you speak. We do not force. We offer." The keepers talked among themselves. They agreed. They said yes. The humans smiled small smiles. They shook hands gentle. The Lirani hands felt cool. The human hands felt warm. The moment felt new. The Cataclysm Dawn stayed one more day. It sent down more supplies. It helped clear the biggest ruins. It made sure no hidden machines waited. Then it prepared to leave. Mara spoke to Lyra one last time. "Your signal saved your people. It also changed how we see this part of space. We will watch closer now. If trouble comes again, call. We will hear. The Lirani will not stand alone." Lyra looked up at the ship. She said, "We will remember. We will tell our young ones about the day the sky answered with thunder. Mercy." The dreadnought turned slow. Its engines glowed bright. It moved away from the planet. It grew smaller in the sky. Then it jumped. It vanished into the black. The Lirani watched until it was gone. They felt strange peace. They felt hope. The humans who stayed worked on. They built. They healed. They taught. The colony started to grow green again. Plants pushed through ash. Flowers opened small and bright. The Lirani sang louder. The children ran and laughed. The world lived again. Far away in human space, the Cataclysm Dawn returned to its path. The crew logged the mission. Threat gone. Survivors safe. New contact made. The captain added one note. "This species is gentle. They call for help when needed. They deserve protection. We will give it if asked." The galaxy turned quiet for a time. But the story spread. Slow at first, then fast. The Lirani shared images of the giant ship. They shared words of thanks. Other species listened. They learned a new name. Humans. Deathworlders, who answer calls. With worlds of fire, but also with hands that heal. The name carried weight. The name carried warning. And the name carried hope. The small human team stayed on the colony world. They worked every day with the Lirani. They taught how to use simple machines that cleaned water fast. They showed ways to grow strong plants in poor soil. They helped rebuild homes that looked like trees again. The Lirani learned quick. They laughed more. They sang louder. The children played near the humans without fear. The adults shared stories around warm lights at night. Word of the rescue moved slow at first. Then it moved fast. The Lirani sent messages out on old channels. They sent pictures of the cataclysm dawn. They sent short recordings of the sky on fire. They sent words of thanks mixed with awe. Other species caught the signals. Traders picked them up. Relay stations passed them on. Soon, the whole galaxy knew. A peaceful colony had called for help. A monster ship had answered. The monster had ended a swarm that could have eaten worlds. The monster had stayed to heal instead of conquer. In quiet meeting halls far from the colony, leaders talked. They watched the images again and again. They saw the dreadnought hang like death itself. They saw it burn machines to nothing. They saw small human figures walk gentle among green-skinned beings. They felt cold in their cores. One leader from a strong trade guild said, "This species hides power. They look soft but build ships that break fleets. They answer calls with total force. We must remember their name, humans." Another leader from a careful watcher race spoke low. "They come from a death world. Gravity pulls hard. Air bites cold. Beasts hunt day and night. Their bodies heal fast. Their minds stay sharp. They evolved to survive anything. Now they survive for others too. That makes them more dangerous, not less." Stories grew in bars and data streams. Some said the humans waited for excuses to fight. Some said they protected weak ones because they could. Some said never call for help unless you want the stars to shake. Traders spread warnings. If your ship fails near human space, send. A polite request, not a scream. They come fast and they come hard. The Lirani became known as the ones who lived. They told their tale to any who asked. They said, "The swarm came to eat us. We sent one message. The humans heard. They brought thunder. They brought healing. They left friends behind. We stand because they stood for us." The young Lirani drew pictures of the giant ship. Some drew it as a dark guardian. Some drew it as a storm with kind eyes. Years passed on the colony. Green spread wide again. Cities rose taller than before. The humans who stayed became part of daily life. They learned Lirani songs. They ate Lirani food. They told stories of their own hard world. The Lirani shared their gentle ways. The two peoples mixed slow and sure. A new trust grew strong. One day a message came from Human Command. The small team received orders to return home. The colony would keep the supplies and knowledge. They would stand on their own. The Lirani gathered to say goodbye. Song of thanks. The humans listened with quiet faces. Dr. Chen spoke for them. "You called, we came. You lived, we are glad. We will watch from far. If you need us again, the signal will reach us." Lyra stood tall. She held a small plant in her hands. It grew bright flowers. She gave it to Chen. She said, "Take this. It will remind you of green worlds that bloom because you came." Chen took it careful. He said, "We will plant it where many can see. It will grow tall." The last human ship rose slow. It joined a relay point far above. The Cataclysm Dawn had long gone back to its patrol, but the name stayed. The ship became legend. The crew became myth. In human space, the story spread different ways. Officers in quiet rooms studied the mission. They saw how one call turned into first contact. They saw how gentle species could become allies. They added the Lirani to watch lists, not as threats, as friends worth guarding. The fleet grew a new rule. If a distress call comes from non-aggressive life, answer fast. Captain Mara Voss sat in her cabin. She looked at a small screen. It showed the colony world now green and alive. She smiled small. She wrote in her log, "Mission complete. Threat ended. Lives saved. New bond formed. The galaxy learned today. Humans hear cries for help. And when we answer, the answer stays forever." Far across the black, another faint signal flickered. A different world, a different fear, a mining colony under attack by pirates. The miners sent a weak plea. They hesitated long. They knew the old stories. They knew who might listen. One miner said, "Send it. If no one comes, we die. If they come, we might still die, but from awe, not blades." They pressed the key. The signal crossed empty space. It found human ears again. Lights blinked in distant posts. Officers read the words. They checked maps. They saw the need. They spoke one word: deploy. Another giant ship turned. Its course changed. Engines woke. The cycle began again. Distress heard. Response given. The cycle continued. Deathworlders moved once more. On the Lirani world, Tiro, now grown tall, taught young ones. He pointed to the sky. He said, "Look up sometimes. You may see a shadow pass. You may feel a hum deep in your chest. Do not fear it. That shadow answers calls. That shadow saves worlds. That shadow wears a human name. Remember their mercy. Remember their might. And if trouble ever finds us again, we know who to call." The children listened wide-eyed. They drew ships in the dirt. They sang songs of thunder and green. They grew up knowing the galaxy held gentle folk and fierce ones. It held peace and fire. It held a species born on a hard world, who chose to guard the soft ones, who turned terror into safety, who made the stars feel a little less empty. The story of the day the distress call brought Deathworlders spread wide. It became a tale told in many tongues. It warned, it inspired, it reminded all who heard, never send a call lightly, because sometimes the ones who answer change everything.